Hello, this is Devlin here with you, and you're listening to Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. And, welcome. Before I get started, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about, I recently got, put on iTunes, and sometimes with me, some people email me and tell me what they think of the show. Other times I forget that people comment on it and I don't see it for right away. But I noticed that a couple of people have commented on my iTunes, and I'm quite certain, although they have coded names, some of them, I'm quite certain they're people I know. But I wanted to take time to thank those people for taking the time to comment. I read the comments. They're absolutely phenomenal, and it means so much to me that this show means so much to many of you out there. I don't think I'd ever be able to put into words just how it makes me feel to know that, just me sitting here and rambling on sometimes, makes for good entertainment. Now, I won't lie, I'm going through a bit of a rough patch. I just do sometimes, and I know a lot of you can relate, and that's why I don't hold back. The good news is I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm going to stay positive. So I've got 3 segments that are, more on a positive thing, because I really don't want to go dark today. And though I am thinking I might record some of those segments when I'm really dark, I don't know if they'll ever see the light of day, or maybe I'll just do a special dark episode. I don't know. Whatever the case is, you're not going to get that today. Just know I'm not feeling tip-top, so if I don't feel my regular bubbly self, that is why. But I am going to talk about something that I absolutely adore, and it is my love of dancing. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I went to my niece's wedding, and I know I went on about how much I hate weddings. I stand by everything I said, but one of my favorite parts of weddings is the dancing. I love seeing people dance. I love dancing myself, and it warms my heart. And if I have to give any advice, I like to give advice to young people, but if I only had one little piece of advice to share, it is be one of those men that go out and dance. Because, there's a lot of really, cool men, or they say they're cool, that say, I don't dance, or that. But you know what? People love guys that dance. Women love guys that dance. You can see them at weddings or at clubs and stuff like that. Yeah, they respect if you're like, I'm not one of those dancing type guys, but you can see how much love they get on the dance floor when they're out there. So I recommend that you do that. That we do one game, that, in improv that a teacher of mine and friend, Kevin Patrick Robbins, taught me, called This Is How We Get Down, where basically everybody just does an impromptu dance thing and then we all do it, and it's got like a sing-songy thing. And I know sometimes when I say it, I can see some of my regulars roll their eyes. But I always, when I teach it, I always start it with, this is the most important thing I will ever teach you. And some people don't get it, but I strongly believe in the power of dance. Although some of my regulars, love it, some hate it, I had a wonderful young man named Matt, who came up to me after I was teaching that, and he said, I love that game, and if I ever teach improv in my high school, I'm going to teach that. And then he came to me that he got the chance to teach it, and he loved that game, and that meant so much. The only time I used to dance when I was a kid was in my room. I was always nervous of how I looked dancing. I literally would put music on and just dance like a nut, a maniac. And I never went to many school dances, and then my friend Norm talked me into going to my grade 8 prom. I went to the prom, and like many, I was one of the ones on the sidelines. You know how it is at proms or school dances. Actually, it's the same way at weddings, too. There's always the odd person dancing, the odd couple dancing, and then eventually, in the case of weddings, they get enough alcohol in them, they go out and dance. And I was one of the wallflowers that kind of stood by and watched. And I remember at that dance, there was a girl I was desperate to dance with. Yes, a girl. I had a big crush on her. Her name was Judy. Not that they're ever listening to this, but her name was Judy, and she just made me laugh. She was fun. She was popular in school, and I don't want to be rude, but she was the first really developed girl in our school, and so she was very popular. And I noticed it too, but honestly, Judy and I were really good friends, and the thing that attracted me most to her first was how much we used to laugh and joke and that. And so I knew we were going to high school, and I knew there was a possibility I might lose her as a friend, so I said, I'm going to dance with her. So the last song came on, and it was, back in my day, it was always Stairway to Heaven. And you'd hear the opening tunes, and you just knew that was it. That was it. You better make your move. And so I went to my move, and I went to go, and I said, I got to dance at least once, and it's got to be with Judy. And then I went, and Judy was dancing with this guy, John. And I was heartbroken. And I left the dance, and I vowed never to go back to a dance again, and I didn't. All through high school, I refused. It was later that night that I realized the reason I was upset was John was a friend of mine. I wasn't upset with him. But I was upset later because I realized that it was actually John I wanted to dance with. And if you listen to the lyrics to It's My Party, like I've mentioned in one of my monologue shows, it's my life. It's basically that scenario, even the names Judy and Johnny, and they're right there. Anyhow, that was my dancing career. I refused. In high school, I was very afraid to be myself because of that, and there was no way I was going to go out on a dance floor and do that. Now, my was left totally behind doors and stuff. The first time I actually decided to dance was a gay club at the embassy when I first went. I realized the dance floor, and the people I enjoyed dancing the most were the ones that were into it. Even the odd person that would just be dancing alone, but you could tell the music had grabbed them. They were the people I respected. And I was well aware that people were watching them and making fun of them. But I thought they got so lost into it that that's the thing that grabbed me the most. And so, basically, I said to myself, if a song comes on that I really love, I will dance. Or if something tells me I have to dance. And, it was a retro night, so they were playing a lot of old 80s hits. I talked myself out of every song because I love so much music. It was like, yeah, no, this isn't right. So anyhow, I was just about to leave, and they played the Time Warp from Rocky Horror Picture. I knew the Time Warp. I decided, hey, great on the dance floor and just be. So I went out, did the Time Warp, and they went right into Prince's Let's Go Crazy. And anybody who knows me, I'm a huge Prince fan, and I thought it was perfect. So I basically stayed out on the dance floor for the rest of the songs. I didn't have anyone to dance with, but it didn't stop me from having a good time, and sometimes people would come up and dance with me. Other times it was myself. I just loved getting on, and I realized everybody kind of looks dorky on the dance floor. They look less the people who are sitting there judging them for being on the dance floor. So I'd rather be participators than one of the ones that think they look cool because they don't dance. They really. So I started my arms up. I started just letting go, and that's basically how I dance now. I love seeing people hit the dance floor. I love being surprised, but I didn't think that person was a dancer, and then they do. And then I'm a little disappointed when I see a really, somebody that I really think would be a great dancer and they just, no, I don't dance. It's a little disheartening. I even remember, being there, Corda, for Pride Day. I knew she wanted to dance, but again, like me, she couldn't bring herself to do it. And I remember seeing her coming on the dance floor that first time, and it made me so proud of her when she did, because I knew what she was feeling, because it's such a release to hit the dance floor for your first time and just dance. Now it doesn't even faze me. The problem I do have with weddings still is it's still very, I don't care how much people stamp up and down, most weddings are still very heterosexual. Even if the people are welcoming to gay people, you still don't see much out there. If you're not dancing with the opposite sex, they're either really weird or they don't. But that didn't stop me at my niece's wedding. I got to dance several times with my sister-in-law and both my nieces, and even a dance with my brother. He came up and joined our group a little bit. Mike will dance, but not often. I have danced with him at a gay club before, and it was really nice. But Mike, like everything, just isn't that motivated to do that. It's just it's not. That's not the right word. His comfort, it's his comfort level, and I'm always very happy when he can step out of that comfort level a little bit. So I am glad I got him on the dance floor. So I don't force him now. I don't, especially at a straight wedding where we don't know where it'll be. I think the staircase, everything leads to the staircase in my stories. This theater that I go to on Dundurn Street. They have parties where they have sexy dancing. And I don't know if I know the definition of sexy dancing, but I definitely know I'm doing it at the staircase, because there you're dancing with anyone. You can dance with guys, girls, everything. There's no heterosexual, there's no homosexual. It's just you dance. And if you see another person who's dancing, it doesn't matter if they're gay, straight, bi, whatever, trans, you just dance with them and you feel great and you just do what you feel. And that's what I love. And I think the staircase spoiled me for that. So when I go into places like weddings, it's hard because I want to just let go, my hands go up in the air, and I will. But I know I have to be reserved because I'm still dealing with people that, look at you like I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And I am not exaggerating this. And my niece had a very nice wedding. I really enjoyed it. But there was a lot of rednecks there, and yeah, I felt the look a couple of times. But the other thing is I also felt a lot of welcoming looks, and I think that's where you see the time is changing. I don't just love when I'm out dancing. I actually love watching dancing. A friend of mine just had a CD release party. I always get her name wrong. Where's her disc so I can read it right? Her name is Sherry Vandermolen. And she just released a wonderful CD of old standards. And she actually had her CD release party at the Germania Club, which is a place I went every once in a while with my parents. Being German, it's the place to go. And I used to go in a couple times, and I hadn't been there in ages, so I actually not only wanted to hear Sherry sing and perform, but I also wanted to see the Germania Club. And it's very old style, and I love it. It's great. But they still have dances for older people. Like, they still have dances where you can go out and dance to, like, Frank Sinatra or Big Band or stuff like that. And it's lovely to see. And I remember at one point I was up on the second floor, but I could look down on the dance floor. And while Sherry was singing, a lot of older people danced. And, they were doing, the old-fashioned style dancing, but you could see them moving and smile, and they were doing old-school moves. And I thought it was so wonderful. I just love watching people dance. And I've recently discovered I love seeing older people dance because it's a different world, and I love that they are still so comfortable. And it's not just the women, it's the men. You know, they go out, and it's so attractive to see. And, I always say, if you're a young guy, get out there and dance. And this verifies it for me. It is just so wonderful to see, like, an older couple that are just right there, just being so much with each other and enjoying the music. And, I've been to a couple places where I've seen, like, really older women dance. I even saw recently a whole bunch of older women line dance. And, it is so refreshing. Dancing to me is so pivotal. Because music is so pivotal. I love music. And recently I read a wonderful quote that says, when we're happy, we enjoy the music. When we're sad, we understand and relate to the lyrics. And that is so real. And I have to dance regularly. We've actually started throwing our own video dance parties. Because one New Year's we realized that if we moved our couch, we actually have a fair-sized dance floor for, a handful of people. We don't have big, I'd love to be able to invite tons of people. But unfortunately, our apartment isn't that big. So, we invite people that we think will enjoy it. Most of the time, it's just me dancing, and then, depending who we bring, we have a couple that I know, Chris and Alex, that, Alex will always be up there dancing with me and stuff. But, the other ones are eating or talking and having a good time, and we just love the music and the feel. And there are things I think I'm going to do more and more in life, only because I need to dance. It's my favorite form of exercise. It's probably, if I could find time to dance every day, I think that would be my fitness regimen. Maybe I need to do a Devlin dancer size, program. Maybe that's what my future holds for me. But yeah, I love just getting lost in the music. Let's push the couch away, move the coffee table, and just dance. And I recommend it to everyone. Just because I think it does keep us young. I think it is just a magical expression. You can dance any way you want. Even if people are up there and they're really not very good and they're not moving around, it doesn't matter, because you still feel they're out there, they're giving it their all. I try not to judge people when they dance. I think, sometimes people do funny dance moves and stuff. I remember dancing with a friend of mine, Laura Reed, who's just a wonderful dancer, and we used to just make up stupid dance moves, we'd do going shopping and pretend there was a cart and we'd be putting cans in, and then we'd use our improv mime and, just doing stuff doing taxes and just trying to make ridiculous stuff. And we just laughed so hard. And, I'll end this segment with a man I know who, his mother actually went to a dance. She'd go to a weekly dance for older people, and she danced her ass off, and then he got a call saying that she had a heart attack. And, I was there for him and very supportive of him. I know it's never easy losing, a mother. In this case, it was his mother-in-law. And I remember saying to him, she loved to dance. I would think that was probably one of the best possible ways she could go, was by doing something she loves, and the adrenaline she was getting from it, and the power of it. That even though it may have been the last minutes of her life, I just think she probably was smiling. And her heart was just filled with adrenaline. And I think there could be worse ways to go. On that note, we are going to take a small break, and I will be back to talk about a TV show. I just got a chance to finish this whole series, It's not a show that's got a lot of glamour. It's not a show that's got a lot of ratings, but it's a show that I think many people should check out, and we will talk about that next. Hello, we're back, and I want to talk to you about a show that I am a really big fan of. It's a show that ran for 6 years and never really got the credit it deserved, and it's really sad because it's a great show. But unfortunately, it's not buzzworthy or click-worthy or just filled with, special effects or sex and violence and stuff, like a Game of Thrones or a Walking Dead or a Breaking Bad. So this show always kind of gets put in the family entertainment segment. And yeah, it is family entertainment, but it's also a very good show. The show I'm talking about is Parenthood, and it ran from 2010 up until January 2015, where it finally came to an end. And I just finished watching the whole series. I watched it on DVD, and I have to say it is an absolutely fantastic show, well written, wonderfully cast. A little background on Parenthood. Parenthood is actually loosely based on a movie that came out in the 80s that was directed by Ron Howard. He also produced it. And the movie was a really big success. It starred Steve Martin, Diane Wiest, Keanu Reeves, Jason Robards. It was a pretty all-star cast. And the movie did really well. And they've always kind of wanted to turn this into a show. And they tried a sitcom version of this show in, I think, the 90s or early 2000s, and it didn't work at all. Now, it should have, because Parenthood was kind of a comedy with drama pieces in it, the actual movie. But it found much bigger success when it went to NBC, and in 2010 they made it an hour-long show. It's got a phenomenal cast and features 3 generations. You've got your grandparents, you've got your kids that are now parents themselves, and then they deal with the kids as well. And, in a lot of these shows, sometimes it's like, well, the actors are really good, but the kids aren't really featured. Or the kids are more heavily focused, but, the adults are more two-dimensional. What I love about Parenthood is that this group of team writers, everybody was three-dimensional. And, everybody always goes on about how family is so important and everything, and I'm shocked that shows like Parenthood don't do as well anymore. Because these do look at typical regular life. Sure, there's probably soap opera elements in it, but there's stuff that people can relate to. We might not go through all this stuff, but I'm sure in my lifetime I will go through several of the stuff that they've dealt with. And they've dealt with some of the bigger issues too. Not only financial problems or relationship problems, they've also tackled things like cancer, running in an election, and the big thing that they are known as for dealing with is bringing light to Asperger's or autism, which Asperger's is a lesser version of. And in one of the earliest episodes, one of the grandchildren, Max, is diagnosed with Asperger's, and you really see the good, the bad, the ugly throughout the 6 seasons of how it can turn a family into turmoil, but also show you how it can also bring your family together. In fact, I think it was probably this storyline that probably let Parenthood stick around as it did. I don't believe NBC ever tried to sell this show. And as I said, it's not as glitzy and glamorous as an Empire or a Scandal, because it's a soap, but it doesn't try to overdo it. It tells real stories. And, back in the 70s, 80s, you'd have shows like Family and the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie and 8 is Enough, and families would gather around. You don't have that many shows like this. Now, this show actually crosses some lines a bit, but I still think you could watch it with a family. And we don't have many shows like that on the air anymore, so I think it's really a good one worth discovering. Got an absolutely amazing cast. Your matriarch and patriarch, the grandparents of the family, are played brilliantly by Craig T. Nelson and Bonnie Bedelia, who are actors I've always been fans of. Their kids are played by Peter Krause, Lauren Graham, Dax Shepard, and Erica Christensen. And they play 4 siblings that are so different. And I'm sure if you watch the show, you will see your own siblings in this. You may even see yourself in it. And of course, they have all their married spouses. They are actors like Monica Porter and Sam Jager and Joy Bryant. And eventually, one of the daughters has many love interests through the years, from John Corbett to Jason Ritter. And then one she really gets involved with is an actor that I was never even a really big fan of. Ray Romano, of course, the comedian that did the very successful Everybody Loves Raymond. I always thought it was ironic because I never really liked that show, and one of the reasons why is I always really didn't like Ray Romano. So not everybody liked Raymond, I'm sorry to admit. But when I heard they brought him on, I really didn't think he'd ruin the show or anything, but I only thought he'd be on for a couple episodes. And he wound up staying for a couple seasons, and I think his performance is actually one of the best on the show. And it's hard to say because I think this is one of the best, one of the best acted shows I have ever seen. And as I said, all the performances from the young to the old are phenomenal. But this is a show that made me actually like Ray Romano and see him as an actor, and I think any show that can do that is definitely something. And his character is quirky and a little bit strange, but he really sells it. And now I can actually watch reruns of Everybody Loves Raymond and say, that guy can act. That guy can act. It's solid. From the younger cast, we have people like Ray Whitman, Miles Heiser, Tyree Brown, Savannah Page Ray. Max Burkholder is probably one of the breakaway stars because he played the kid with Asperger's. This is actually one of the things that interest me in this is I actually have my friend Corda has a daughter who has Asperger's, Erin, and watching this show, I saw a lot of Erin and Max, and then Erin is also her own person because she's just a wonderful, person. She's got her quirks like everybody does, but she's very funny and smart. And, she's totally different from Max, but it really opened up a chance to see a different side of the world, and it kind of helped me deal a little bit with her. I've also dealt with a wonderful, amazing guy named Arthur, who also, deals with similar autism and Asperger's and stuff, and he has taught me a lot too, and it's been wonderful to see all of them growing up. And the Max Braverman character is, at times can be annoying, can be grating on your nerves, but it's a wonderful performance, and for a young man to bring it. The show's never been loved by Emmys or anything like that, but they have won a lot of family awards or just awards in general of for giving us portrayals of Asperger's and stuff like that. And they do a tremendous job bringing to light something that we don't really talk about a lot, but something that should be, because it's It definitely is something that is becoming more evident in the world. Parenthood is not just a heavy-handed drama. It has a lot of funny moments, and it deals with real family feelings for one another. So you will see them come together in weak times. You'll see them fight a lot. You'll see them, have disagreements. I have a wonderful family. I don't get to see them nearly as much, but I watch this a little vicariously. Mike, too. Mike's family's kind of far away, too, and so we watch this and think, it would be nice to be part of a big family like this. Sometimes we also watch it and are thankful that we're not, always with our families, because they can be drama. I don't care what they say. Family, is important, but, family is also the people you move with us, who you make part of your life. If you're looking for a show that's going to entertain you and you're also going to just enjoy the characters, Parenthood is solid that way. It has got a tremendous team that seems to always care about the stuff they do. I never feel they are heavy-handed. Even a lot of dramas deal with cancer. But I feel that they not only deal from the character's point of view, but they also dealt with supporting characters, their family members, and how everybody deals with things in their own way. Parenthood is not afraid of showing people making mistakes. They know that people don't always make the right decisions. There's no character that comes off in the show like, I do all the right things. The lead son, Adam, is always the one people go to for the answers. But Adam, even though he's a rock and he's strong, you see he has moments of weakness, and it's great to see characters that are vulnerable like that, even though they're strong. It's a funny show. And people got to remember that, because some people see, family drama, it's just going to be heartwarming and that. But no, I had some genuine laughs on this show. If you were a fan of the show Friday Night Lights, a lot of the producers from that show went on to this, and you can tell that they really love Friday Night Lights, because a lot of the actors turn up on this show in supporting roles, and it's great to see them back. And I have a feeling now that Parenthood is done, you're going to see a lot of Parenthood actors now getting work again because of their strong performances. Again, if you're looking for sci-fi fantasy, obviously Parenthood's not for you. But you should give it a chance. Especially if you're one who just loves being with your family or just loves the idea of family. It's going to warm your heart. One thing I did want to discuss about this is when this show ran on TV, the theme song was Forever Young by Bob Dylan. And I didn't know that because I've only watched this show through DVD. It's a show Mike actually wanted. And so I picked it up for him and I wound up watching it with him, and I'm so glad I did. It is one of my favorite parts of this show is sharing it with Mike. But when we used to watch it on the DVD, there's a song called When We Were Young by Lucy Schwartz, which I absolutely adore. In fact, it's become one of my favorite songs. And usually, if I'm having an emotional day and this song comes on when we're watching the show, I'll reach over and take Mike's hand, and I just get great feelings watching this with him. But much to my surprise, I did not know that this was not the theme song everywhere, because when I saw it on TV one day, I decided, I'm going to watch, because the theme song should be coming, and then Bob Dylan comes in, and don't get me wrong, I love Bob Dylan. But it's a little harsh compared to this sweet singy song one that comes on my DVD, so I know the song Forever Young, but I'm just like, it doesn't fit just because I'm not used to it. So if you get the DVD, or if you watch it in international television, you will probably hear the Lucy Schwartz version, which I actually like a lot better. No offense to Mr. Dylan in any way. To wrap up, shows like Parenthood, seem to be the rare ones. There was a time when I grew up that this kind of stuff was everywhere. So all the other, like, fantasy shows were rare. You know, $6 Million Man and Wonder Woman and Incredible Hulk. Those were rare. Now we have so many channels, and a majority of those channels are, like, action and thrillers and crime investigations, and even superheroes are taking over the TV screen. So it's harder to find these sweet little dramas that will put a smile on your face. No, they probably won't win all the awards, which is really sad, because I really think the acting in this is top-notch, and some of them should have at least got a nomination. But honestly, it's not going to be one of those ones, so you're going to really have to search this out. And since it's now done, you know, look for cheap DVDs, give it a chance. Maybe it's on your Netflix or one of your movie streaming sites, or, you know, maybe rent it out at the library even. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you like shows that just make you feel good, maybe even make you think a little bit, which is not a scary thing. I know we tend to go to entertainment to kind of hide away from our lives, but sometimes it's not bad if it makes you think a little bit, you know, just think. And this several times when I watched Parenthood made me think a lot. Anyhow, it's a phenomenal cast. Check it out. There's 6 seasons. The seasons are all over the place, as in sometimes they had shorter seasons, some they have long. NBC was never sold on this show. It never got the ratings they wanted. It got solid ratings, but not, you know, ratings like Big Bang Theory or stuff. And unfortunately, we're in a world where we look for those unrealistic ratings. But I am happy that not only did we get 6 years, but it's a complete show, as in they knew it was going to end, so they got a way to wrap it all up. And I think they do a good job with that. And I'm going to miss visiting with the Bravermans every week. But, you know what? I'm hoping a new show will come up like this. Because now that these shows are rare, when they do come, we cherish them a little bit more. And I hope there's another one on the cusp. Anyhow, I'm going to leave you with that. And then I'm going to talk pampering yourself. Because it's something we need to do more of. As the world gets more stressful, we need to take time for ourselves and make ourselves feel good. And I'm going to tell you one of my pampering adventures when we come back. We are back, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about pampering oneself. I enjoy pampering myself. I always look for new, you know, ways to relax. I love soaking in a hot tub. It's my favorite. You know, I still have showers, but I probably take more baths than I do showers. Definitely more. I just love a bath. I love to be just wrapped up in the water, and sometimes the bubbles all up, and trying new soaps and, you know, new products. And so I always enjoy a good pampering, because I deserve it. That's what they always tell you to say, right? So, the thing is with me is that I'll be honest, I live kind of in an imagination world, and when I see stuff happening, I sometimes think, is that what I'm going to look like when it happens? Like, you know, when I see, like, you know, you always see, you know, ladies relaxing in the tub. They've got the bubbles, and, you know, they're just, you can tell they're so wrapped in it. And I always think that's kind of what I look like, you know, just wrapped up in bubbles and just relaxing. But I know I don't. And that's the thing with me and pampering, is I always set up to have this really exotic, erotic feeling, yet reality always comes into it. And I wanted to share a story about with you about one of my pampering adventures. I went to a great little place on James Street called Burlap and Twine, and I picked up a bath bomb. I didn't know what to expect, but my friend was with me, and she said, "Oh, it's wonderful. You just drop it in your bath," because I never knew how they worked. First of all, for anybody who doesn't know what it is, it's like a big ball. It's like a hard ball I don't know, it could be a salt lick. Don't lick them because they're probably poison or something, but maybe not poison, but they wouldn't be good for you. But anyhow, but it looks like that, and it looks really, like solid and hard, and I wasn't sure, so I said to my friend, I said, do you just put these in the bath and then you just reuse them? And she said, no, you put them in the bath and then they effervescence and they disappear, like they just go psh, and they fill your water with minerals and oils and natural essences, depending on which ones you buy, because they have store-made ones. These were handmade, and they were huge. And the thought of it just sounded very luxurious to me, so I decided to try one. So my game plan was, I bought one, and I decided I was going to try it on a Sunday night. I thought, well, if this works, this would be a wonderful way to end the week, just before I'm ready to, sit down watching some TV on Sunday night, putting my feet up. It would be great to do this bath bomb. So I set the tone. I ran some hot water, some, nice warm water. And I picked lemongrass for my first one. And as I said, these are all handmade and they had lots of flavors. And oddly, I wasn't going to go for the lemongrass, but the owner of the place, or one of the people who own the place, talked me into it. I like lemon, but I don't necessarily think it's something that I wanted to smell on my skin. But I kept smelling it, and I said, lemon just smells so fresh, and I think I'm going to try lemongrass. Now, the bath bomb was totally yellow, but there were these things in it, like little things, and I didn't know exactly what it was. So I got my water ready. It was nice temperature, and then it was deciding whether should I be in the water when the water becomes effervescent, or should I watch it? And I thought to myself, well, I like to watch it, and then I'll see, and then I can decide if I do it again, if I want to sit in the water, because I thought I was going for luxurious and pampering, and I thought maybe it would be a little too curvy or erotic if I was in there, and, this ball that was, disappearing and fizzing into my water, like snuck up to body parts that, I might have enjoyed way too much, or maybe not enjoyed at all. So I decided for the first time I'm just going to put it in. So I put the bomb into the bath, and it was amazing to see. It literally, just, in a matter of minutes, it totally dissolves. And so here I am, this is amazing. And it's just fizzing all over, and I just can't believe how fast it's disappearing. Then I'm noticing in the water, my water is got a little bit of tint to it. So I'm thinking, oh, this is good. This is like the nutrients, chemicals going in, or whatever it is, the all natural. Then I'm starting to notice that I figure out what the little things in the lemongrass bomb were. They're literally grass, because suddenly I'm seeing grass coming up into the water. Now, when I take a bath, the reason I like a bath is because I feel so clean. My whole body gets into the water. So I'm not sure I'm liking the whole grass in my water, because it looks like a little bit of a swamp right now. And this is concerning me because, as I said, I go in to be clean, and so I decided that, okay, well, let's be experimental. I don't know what it's like. It could, be fine. So it finally finishes, and I've got lots of grass in it. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I like this right now. But again, I'm not going to turn my head up. I haven't been in the water yet. I haven't. So I decided it's time to lower the lights a bit. And I'm going to put on some light, romantic music, just, stuff to take me away so I could enjoy sitting in my water. And so I do all that, lighten the mood. can't see the grass in the water. Well, I can see it a little bit, but not really. And then I said that, okay, I'm good. So, I stripped down. I won't go into detail on that. I'll let you all use your imaginations. I know you secretly undressed me with your eyes, so now you can undress me with my voice. That doesn't sound right at all. So anyhow, I get into the bath, and again, I play it up because that's what I do. I got the nice music playing, relaxing. The lights are dim, so I, of course, put one body part. My leg goes in, my other leg. Then I slowly crouch down. I'm a big man. Let's be honest. You all know that I'm a bigger man. This is the part where it never looks sexy. I've seen movies where guys and girls go into bathtubs and they can just slink into the bathtub. When you're a bigger person, this is the part where they would cut away and show a shot of the candles or your light or something. Now, I actually had some mood lighting that day. How dare I forget this part of the story? Now, I'm not the kind... Sometimes I see these movies where they have, it looks like they have 100 candles around the bathtub, and I'm thinking to myself, I would be so not only exhausted by lighting all those candles before I take a bath, but I'd constantly be worried that with my luck, I'd be relaxing, and one of the candles would fall, burn like bathroom rug, and I'm sitting there relaxing, and then realizing that the fire alarm's going off. Mike's knocking on the door. What's going on in there? So I didn't have that. So I bought something, and I know I'm trying to set a luxurious tone, but keep in mind I'm also a little bit of a redneck trailer trash kind of guy, and I found this wonderful thing called Party in Your Bath. It was at a dollar store, and I think I paid $3 for it. You put a battery in it, and you turn on the light, and it actually has lights going with, the lights change, and it suddenly turns into different colors and stuff. So, you're supposed to put it in the bathtub, and you can either submerge it, or you can just let it float there. Now, I didn't want to put it in because I had my bomb in there, but I had it sitting on top of the toilet, so I had kind of disco lights going on when I'm doing this. That now gets back to me, a big man trying to crouch. This is where we would cut away and show the lights, because nobody likes that one part where, you're crouching down, you're a bigger person, you have to pretty much hold on to everything before you sit your fat ass into the water. Then when you're in, you're fine. And then I was there instantly feeling how good it felt on my body. I could feel stuff reacting with mine, and it just felt amazing. And I was saying to myself, oh my God, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I ask about bath bombs sooner? And then I kind of went deeper into the water as I slid in, and, my head was up, but my whole body was submerged, and my legs were up, and I was just feeling it. And I didn't put any other soaps or anything in it, because I thought this would be a perfect night to get cleansed, open up all my pores. And then I started feeling the grass on my body. And it was bothersome at first because it was darker now. So I had disco flashing lights, and I had things that felt like tadpoles rubbing up against me. And I reminded myself, no, come on, it's just grass. You're going to love it. Your skin's going to feel great. So I tried to put it out of my head. Then while I was laying there, I swear I felt, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I felt that something may have went up my, what's a nice way to say it, my bum. I was, kind of had my legs spread, and I felt like, oh my God, did grass just go up my ass? And that was not a pleasant feeling, but it didn't. It just may have touched and then went away, but it was just a weird feeling. So I decided I'm going to sit up a little bit, and then I rubbed, the stuff on my body, I just rubbed water, let it flow, and it felt amazing. Then when I sat in there for a while, I got out and turned the lights on, and I had all this grass stuck to my body, and and don't know if I felt as clean as I had hoped. The place smelt amazing, but I was like, okay, I need to take a shower now because I don't feel as clean as I really want to be. And I basically emptied out the tub, and there was grass all over the tub. So I knew, now I gotta wash the tub. So suddenly my pampering is going right out the door, because I'm like, what am I gonna do? It's like, now I gotta take a shower. Now I've gotta, so I thought, oh, the shower's not a bad thing. I've done it before after a bath, but, I try not to, because I don't want to use up too much water. And then I'll run the shower, and then I'll clean the bath out after my shower, because the shower might get rid of some of it. So I wound up taking a shower, and I feel really cleansed. Then I kind of wipe down the thing, clean it out, and I'm a little, that takes a little bit of the luxury out of it, because I'm sweating a little bit again. But then I go out. And I go out and sit with Mike, getting ready to watch some of our favorite shows, and I can't stop smelling my skin. My skin feels amazing. And I said, you know what, maybe the pampering didn't go as sensual as I hoped, but I feel rejuvenated. My pores felt all open, and I couldn't. The lemongrass smelled so amazing on me. So Mike said to me, so, I know you had a lot of extra stuff you had to do afterwards, but would you do it again? And I said, yeah. I don't know if I'd get lemongrass again. I'd check to see if, they had other ones that didn't have that, but I really liked lemongrass. So when I went back to the place, Burlap and Twine, I get no money for this, but it is on James Street. It's a great little thing where they do make handmade bombs. And you can get bombs everywhere, but if you can find a place that does handmade ones, they might be a little bit more expensive, but I think you're getting more natural ingredients and stuff like that. So anyhow, I actually went and got another one that it had something that looked like little seeds in it, and that was even more disturbing, because that almost looked like little bugs when I put it in the water, like they were dead bugs or something, or little larvae or something. But it smelt incredible again. Then I found ones that didn't have that. It just colored my water and made my water smell good. And I went for them. And you probably have guessed, I now have an addiction to this, and now I buy them, and I end off every week with one of these bath bombs. And I just love it. I don't use any chemicals on that day, like I don't use shampoos, I don't use other bath soaps or oils. I have one day where I end the day where I just basically just let the balm stuff open up, and it makes me feel really fresh and ready to take on another week. And I constantly buy these now, and they're kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. But I guess not so guilty, because I'm sharing it all with you now. But I will even say that I have even gotten the lemongrass again, and I deal with the grass, and I have no problem with it, because I know how great I'm going to smell and everything. And they always have new flavors and stuff. Flavors, not flavors. New scents and stuff to try. So I'm always trying new things, and obviously I have my favorites and that. But anyhow, if you are looking for pampering things to do, give a nice bath bomb a try, if you can say it. I can't. Because for me, it was just absolutely a wonderful experience. I still try to make it sensual when I go in, and it just doesn't happen. A little bit in my head, the fantasy, I can get it, but when reality strikes in, it always makes me laugh because of the trouble I see, because I can't even imagine what I'd be like at a spa, like putting mud on my face or getting a manicure or a pedicure or something. I have no problems with men or anybody doing that, but I knowing me, it would be a whole endurance thing, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. But I was ready for the bath bombs, and it's something I do all the time now. They even know me at the shop. I walk in and they know I'm going to go for that bag, and it's, oh, we got him addicted on the bath bombs. But anyhow, hopefully you can find a way to make it more luxurious, but I recommend it. Obviously, you know, I go to Burlap and Twine. Again, I do not get paid for this in any way. It's on James Street, a great little store that has a lot of great things. Check it out. And look around, because there's a lot of local places that make their own bath bombs, or their own soaps, or their own, stress relief, like Epsom salts almost. But, give a try to natural stuff. I know sometimes, I always balk on the price. I can be a cheap guy when it comes to stuff like that. I'll spend money on DVDs or toys or something, or, but I'm always like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on me. But you know what? It's an indulgence I like to do now, and I totally recommend it to try it out. And go to these little streets. Hamilton, we've got lovely streets like, James and Ottawa and Loch, and just so many amazing streets. And there's these great little things. And you won't find those stores unless you really examine them and find them. Because it seems more and more people are opening these great stores where they're making this stuff by hand. I know a friend, Wes Fletcher, he owns a wonderful store in Ottawa where he makes his own candles. Wicked Wax Creations, and it's just a great place. I'll give a little plug to him. I'm happy when I meet these people because they've added so much to my life, and they're following a dream, which makes it even great. So look for these little places and find stuff to treat yourself with. And if it's a little bit more than you normally would pay, just remember that it was made by hand and made by love, and that's a good thing. So it's not Sunday, but I feel like I should go put a bath bomb in right now. Hey, I might splurge and do it anyhow. But I will be back in time to talk to you next week.